on the news.
And he shall reign forevermore, forevermore.
Grammy nominee Matt Maher brings down the house at the newly renovated Emmaus Center in Williamsburg, raising money to give kids a Catholic education. Bishop Robert Brennan makes his first official visit to schools in the diocese.
Supply chain issues are affecting every aspect of life. They're even affecting what happens after someone passes away. I'm Jessica Easthope with how one Brooklyn business is trying to deal with the delays with grace and faith.
Plus, the Holy Father encouraging the faithful to find concrete ways to make Christmas more meaningful. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. A marvelous evening of music and fellowship as 9-time Grammy nominee Matt Maher led Brooklyn in song for a good cause. The diocese got into the spirit of Christmas Monday night. The Futures in Education concert held at the brand new Emmaus Center in Williamsburg is a major fundraising push to help kids get the best education money can buy, a Catholic education. Currents News' Jessica Easthope was at the event and reports on the sights and sounds of the Christmas extravaganza.
Christmas Eve will find me.
The sound of the season is booming in Brooklyn. The Emmaus Center's grand opening and inaugural event, the Spirit of Christmas concert, was designed to be less of a concert and more of an experience.
I'm totally wowed. I love all the ambiance. I love the going back in time and the horse and carriage and the carolers.
They do it exceptionally festive. It brings you right up for your holiday season.
600 people, including the Diocese of Brooklyn's new shepherd, Bishop Robert Brennan, packed the former Williamsburg Opera House Monday night to see a show filled with performances from artists who are dedicated to their faith and were thrilled to be part of the historic night.
This wonderful facility now, I feel like I'm going to be calling home.
I'm not perfect.
The event's host, Anthony Mangano, was back on stage for the first time since the pandemic and suffering a massive stroke earlier this year.
Just to be out there and to sing and to be able to sing, because God gave me a second chance, yeah, I feel really blessed.
Members of the audience were moved by the performances inside. But outside, people walking down Berry Street moved toward the Emmaus Center. A Christmas display outside meant to grab attention.
We want to attract people to come in. We want to try to evangelize to the people in this neighborhood who are unchurched, and hopefully through the arts we'll do that.
He shall reign forevermore.
The event benefited Futures in Education. All proceeds will go toward sending hundreds of students to Catholic school in Brooklyn and Queens. In Williamsburg, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
And Bishop Robert Brennan got to see the Catholic school students in action on Tuesday as he made his first official visit to school as Bishop of Brooklyn.
Good morning, boys and girls. How nice to meet you all.
Bishop Brennan went to Holy Family Catholic Academy in Fresh Meadows and St. Nicholas of Tolentine Catholic Academy in Jamaica. He went classroom to classroom and even read to first and second graders. The Bishop of Brooklyn says visits like these will help him form his plans for youth ministry.
It's all based on human interaction. We meet people and we meet people where they are. So the first step in any relationship is getting to know each other.
Bishop Brennan also got some drawings from the young students. One of them wrote, "He's the best bishop." And a Christmas giving story that'll melt your heart. You're looking at a 33-year-old toy drive done in partnership with Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens that has grown to epic proportions. It all started when a young woman was grieving the passing of her mother. She bought a doll to place on her grave, something she'd done in years past, but she couldn't go through with it. The doll was too beautiful to not go to a child in need. So she went to a friend, a priest, who told her he knew many needy kids. She in turn told every family member and friend that would listen, and thus the Eileen's Gift of Love toy drive was born. The Supreme Court has refused to block New York's requirement that healthcare workers be vaccinated against COVID-19, even when they cite religious objections. Doctors and nurses had challenged the mandate, saying it violated their right to free exercise of their faiths. Justice Neil Gorsuch filed a dissent, saying that the majority had betrayed the court's commitment to religious liberty. Starting today, kids between the ages of 5 and 11 in New York City must now show proof that they have had at least one shot of the COVID vaccine in order to eat indoors at a restaurant or go to a show with the family. The new rules also apply to extracurricular activities, including sports. And beginning on December 27th, children ages 12 and up will be required to show proof of full vaccination. Pfizer says its experimental COVID-19 pill cuts the risk of hospitalization or death by 89%. The new data also suggests that the drug is effective against the Omicron variant. The updated results come from a study where the pills called Paxlovid were given to nearly 700 unvaccinated people within 3 days of symptom onset. 5 of them had to be hospitalized and none died. The pandemic is putting pressure on the global supply chain, a crisis affecting everything from medical supplies to holiday gifts. It's also adding more grief to families in mourning who have to wait months for a headstone. Jessica Easthope reports from Sunset Park.
The average cost of a wake and funeral is $8,000, and if there's a burial, it's higher.
All right.
Before the pandemic, a traditional monument like this one used to cost $3,400. Now it's going for twice that.
There's so many things that are just out of our control that we've never experienced before.
I do apologize for the delays.
Like most other industries, Michael Casara, the owner of Supreme Memorials in Sunset Park, is struggling to keep up with supply chain delays.
All this stuff is behind schedule.
Over the last several months, Michael says material and labor shortages have created a cycle of setbacks. The shortages have caused costs to skyrocket.
1 foot by 6-inch gray marker.
Some of the granite used to make these stones has gone up 30%. And though the business's volume is also up that much, their profits have stayed the same.
We've never called somebody and said, hey, granite went up 30%. You know, we need more money. This is a family business. The most important thing is, satisfying our families.
Everything is so backlogged.
And the time it takes for families to get the closure that comes along with properly laying their loved ones to rest has gone up dramatically. One of these stones used to take 12 to 14 weeks before it was in the cemetery on the grave. Now, Michael says they're taking 6 months. For a gravestone to be set by Christmas, the cutoff used to be October 1st. But due to delays this year, Michael made it August 1st. And many still won't be in for the holiday.
Being Catholic, I understand how important it is to go to the cemetery, put down a grave blanket.
Michael has no choice but to be patient and apologize for the wait, even though it's out of his hands. He anticipates delays could last up to another year. In Sunset Park, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
AAA is predicting holiday travel will reach pre-pandemic levels. A record 109 million Americans are expected to travel 50 miles or more between December 23rd and January 2nd. That's up 34% from last year. More than 100 million will hit the road for holiday getaways and gatherings. More than 6 million are expected to travel by air, while 3 million people are booking buses, trains, and cruises. JFK Airport is getting a new international terminal. The price tag is $9.5 billion. Governor Kathy Hochul says construction on the 2.4 million square foot terminal will begin next year. She says it will create 10,000 jobs. It will be built on the sites of the airport's existing terminals 1, 2, and 3. The new terminal is expected to open in 2026. There's a lot more news headed your way. It's a race against time to find anyone trapped beneath the rubble in the wake of deadly tornadoes in the heartland, and now a dire warning for survivors. In the midst of all the devastation from those deadly storms, a sign of hope and faith emerges. And the Pope offering ways for the faithful to prepare for Christmas.
There are now some big changes to the tablet website. You can get personalized access to the Catholic news you value. Sign up for free at thetablet.org.
People who had their lives ripped apart in mere moments by violent and unforgiving tornadoes over the weekend are now dealing with a new reality, seeking the basic needs of food and shelter while surrounded by devastation and uncertainty over the fate of their neighbors. Altogether, at least 1,000 homes have been damaged or destroyed, and according to officials, those whose homes are still standing could be without heat, water, or electricity for up to a month. Meanwhile, tornado cleanup efforts are intensifying. The National Guard now joining rescuers as they comb through the ruins in hopes for a miracle. Daryl Forges is in Mayfield, Kentucky with the latest.
People across Kentucky coming together to support each other. It's remarkable.
Survivors helping survivors.
Thank you very much.
And rescuers combing through what's left of homes, hoping for a miracle.
I watched some people die that didn't make it. My question is, why? I keep saying why.
In Kentucky alone, at least 74 people are dead, including 12 children, with the victims ranging in age from 2 months to 98 years old. More than 100 people still missing nearly 4 days after a tornado outbreak tore through the region.
I still expect that we will find at least some more bodies. There is just so much destruction. I hope that that's not the case.
The cleanup effort is intensifying. Crews using shovels, forklifts, and cranes to clear debris from the streets and take it out of the town.
There's something therapeutic about taking that chaos and destruction and death and getting it out.
Meanwhile, officials in Mayfield say they're confident that no employees remain in the rubble of the torn-up candle factory, where 8 people died. And as volunteers work to make sure food and shelter reach those who need it the most.
What I see in our community is hope that people are coming together, working together, serving each other.
And those left behind to pick up the pieces are realizing just how tough the work will be and how long it is going to take. Daryl Forges, Currents News.
The damage in Kentucky is shining a light on the state's pre-existing housing crisis. Prior to the tornadoes, 30% of rental households in Kentucky were living at or below the poverty level, and 62% spend more than half their income on housing and utilities. Now, the Homeless and Housing Coalition of Kentucky is urging the state to invest in homes that are both affordable and can withstand future disasters. In the midst of all the devastation, a sign of hope. A statue of the Virgin Mary and Christ Child was untouched by the storms. It stands outside the Resurrection Catholic Church in Dawson Springs, Kentucky. The church itself was heavily damaged. The roof is gone and all the windows and doors were blown out. The building will most likely be a total loss. Just a few miles away, another church, Christ the King in Madisonville, was spared. So the pastor there, Father Carl McCarthy, went to Resurrection to see the destruction. He joins us now. And Father Carl, we just saw the photos you sent of Mary. What went through your mind to see that, still standing amid all of that destruction?
Well, I think it shows how she is, even in the midst of destruction and hardship, is, Mary, the mother of the church, is watching over us and has us in our best interest in mind, and especially, here at Advent, as we are preparing for Christ and his coming. I can't think of a more profound and perfect person to have with us on this horrific journey, that we're on.
Absolutely, watching over. And as we mentioned, your church is just a few miles away and was untouched. But tell us what you experienced.
Yeah, so we're about 20 miles away from where Resurrection Church is at, where that statue is standing, and we're probably about 12 miles to the north where the tornado track went through. And that evening, not being able really to focus, so it was Friday evening, and not really being able to focus, I was kind of cleaning the house and just kind of taking care of things at home and watching the news and getting in my safe spot, and then hearing, that this catastrophic tornado was, moving towards us. I started texting those individuals who were in mobile homes, who were in trailers, who I knew were in homes that perhaps were not able to withstand, such a, that's 150 mile an hour wind that's going to barrel down on us. So what was on my mind was, our people, here at Christ the King and beyond as well. I was texting, priests that I knew that were in the track of the storm, and making sure that they had one of them's Hispanic, and making sure, are you watching this? And he said yes, and he thanked me for reaching out. And he had his parishioners, huddled together in a church. And so my thought was others, and how they were doing, and making sure they were okay.
Absolutely. So scary. What is your parish doing right now to help?
Right now, we're acting as a relief site. So we are our parish center. I'm in my office here, but around me and behind me, and even at my desk, is Josiah. Josiah is a high schooler from our neighboring high school, and it's high school students who have come together to organize a relief effort. So we are collecting water, food, generators, totes for people to be able to put their own individual life in, because everything they've had's lost. And so giving those totes out, we're collecting space heaters, jackets, hats, gloves, work gloves, protective equipment, tarps. The weather is supposed to get bad here again. We're supposed to have rain moving in the area this evening. We're collecting monetary donations, money. We're collecting diapers, formula. We're working with our local agencies that are on the ground and in those areas, with St. Vincent de Paul, with the Knights of Columbus, with Salvation Army, with the Red Cross, with our local county food bank. And we are just simply acting as a collection site, and then getting those needed items out. YMCA is sending vans over. They're sending people over. We got people here right now. I have 2 families that just came in from Dawson Springs, and those 2 families coming in from Dawson Springs are here, getting needed items that they need. They got family of 8, a family of 5. Their house was taken away. So we are simply acting as a site for tornado relief, and for the victims to be able to get what the basic essentials that they need.
It's always nice to hear the stories of the good happening after such tragedies. Father Carl McCarthy, pastor of Christ the King Church in Madisonville, Kentucky. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and we are praying for you and all of your neighbors.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
If you'd like to help those affected by the tornadoes, just go to owensboroughdiocese.org/give and make sure to click on Tornado Relief Catholic Charities for the donation destination. The national correspondent for the Tablet and Crux, John Lavenberg, will be on the ground in Kentucky to tell us about the damage and how the church down there is coping. His coverage will begin tomorrow on Currents News and continue throughout the week. A nation is in mourning after a gasoline truck exploded in northern Haiti, killing more than 50 people and injuring dozens of others. The incident occurred late Monday night in the coastal city of Cap-Haïtien. A local hospital there is now pleading for basic supplies and more medical staff as it's overwhelmed with the victims. The explosion comes as Haiti struggles with fuel shortages and spiraling gas prices that have recently forced hospitals to turn away patients. Still to come on Currents News, Pope Francis is urging the faithful to find concrete ways to make the Advent season meaningful. And a New York family gets into the spirit of the season, setting an amazing record, all while raising money for charity. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. The season of giving, and the Tablet newspaper is getting into the spirit with its Bright Christmas campaign. The drive is an annual effort by the paper to help ensure every child in the diocese will have a very Merry Christmas. Generous readers send in their donations, which last year amounted to more than $100,000. This year, the paper's hoping to pass that and earn $115,000, which the campaign is close to achieving. As of Monday, the campaign has raised close to $103,000. If you'd like to donate to the Bright Christmas Fund, just head online to thetablet.org and click on Bright Christmas. Or if you're a subscriber to the paper, just fill out the slip provided inside. Make your check out to the Bright Christmas Fund and mail it to Bright Christmas, LB number 2118, second line, P.O. Box 95,000. That's in Philadelphia with the zip code 19195. If you missed it, don't go away. We'll give you that information again at the end of the show. One family in upstate New York is setting the bar high when it comes to large light displays. This dazzling arrangement features 686,811 lights, and it all comes from the imagination of Tim and Grace Gay and their 3 children. They originally broke the Guinness World Record for most lights in 2014, but decided to beat it again this year by adding a few 100,000 lights. But it's not just about winning for this family. They teamed up with a local fire department to collect donations for firefighters and local charities. That's awesome. Christmas lights and gifts to friends and family, these are only the icing on the cake of the Christmas season. If you're looking for the real reason for the season, who better to ask than the successor of St. Peter? Here's what Pope Francis recommends you do to prepare for the birth of Christ.
Il tempo di Avvento serve a questo.
The season of Advent is for this, to stop and ask ourselves how to prepare for Christmas. We are so busy with all the preparations, with gifts and things that pass. But let's ask ourselves, what can we do for Jesus and for others? What should we do? Let us do something concrete, even if it is small, suitable to our situation in life, and let's carry it out to prepare for this Christmas. For example, I can call that person who is alone, visit that elderly or that sick person, serve someone who is poor, someone in need. Maybe I need to ask forgiveness, grant forgiveness, clarify a situation, pay a debt. Perhaps I have neglected prayer, and after so much time has passed, it's time to ask the Lord for forgiveness. Brothers and sisters, let's find something concrete and do it. May we be helped by Our Lady, in whose womb God became flesh.
The youngest pilgrims at St. Peter's Square seemed to get the message. They brought statues of baby Jesus to be blessed by the Holy Father after he prayed the Angelus. Again, if you'd like to donate to the Bright Christmas Fund, just head online to thetablet.org and click on Bright Christmas. Or if you're a subscriber to the paper, you can just fill out the slip provided inside and make your check out to the Bright Christmas Fund. Mail it to Bright Christmas, LB number 2118. The second line is P.O. Box 95,000. That's in Philadelphia with the zip code 19195. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.